Welcome one and all to Umami Manga. I'm Petter and this is James.
Hello.
And today we're talking about volume 23 of Jujutsu Kaisen. The volume picks up right where the previous one ended, with Sukuna informing Yuji that he is indeed the disgraced one. So Yuji and Megumi mind melded for a moment and established that Sukuna is underestimating Yuji's dedication to the cause, I guess you could say. It is also revealed that a large number of people are entering the colony right now, so that'll be exciting. Then we switch over focus to Kenjaku in the US 2 months prior, where he spills the beans of the Jujutsu world to the US president and company. And then we return to present day and to Tengen, Yuki, and Choso, which I was very happy to see them again.
Yeah.
And Kenjaku, of course, arrives and fights them. And at the end of the volume, Yuki dies, and Kenjaku, I guess, took Tengen in away. And that's this volume in a nutshell.
Yeah. It doesn't sound like a lot, but that whole Yuki, Kenjaku, Tengen, Chozo stuff, it was the majority of the volume.
It was.
It was a long fight.
Yes.
And very epic and well thought out, but yeah, that's how it ends. So not a whole lot happened in terms of moving the plot here, although that's kind of been the theme of the culling games, it feels like. But still, it was very entertaining, and one that was I guess teased a fight that was eventually going to happen with Kenjaku and Tengen.
Yeah.
Meeting at some point.
Definitely. And I mean, the very end of the volume definitely is a massive loss for the good guys.
Yes. Oh, yes.
So
stakes are higher.
Absolutely. Well, before we dive into the character discussions here, I would just like to shed a little bit of light on the volume cover. For one, it's nice to have Yuki on the cover here, but also the one thing I probably like the most about this volume cover is the background pattern. The background pattern is like it's the same heart pattern as it was on, I believe, volume 5, which had Toto on the cover.
I knew it had something to do with Toto.
Exact same pattern, just different colors. So I thought it was nice to see that, especially since Yuki has been a kind of mentor, I guess, to Toto.
Oh, yes.
So it's nice to see that connection.
I mean, not that we really saw it. It would be nice to have seen said mentorship, but I guess that's for the fans to interpret. But yes, it is nice to see that connection between the two.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, I know you wanted to reference the Toto, but the cover art, her holding what looks like a planet, maybe even Jupiter, is so cool. I mean, you probably wouldn't quite understand the reference when you first look at it until you read the volume. Like, oh, that's how it works. So I think it's a very clever manga cover.
True. That is a very good point. Then let's get into these characters.
Aye.
Starting with Kenjaku. So he informed the President of the United States about cursed energy and Jujutsu sorcerers and that whole deal. And about the upcoming culling games as well. And apparently he had already been to other nations in the world, telling them about supposedly the same exact stuff.
Do you remember in a previous volume, we had Kenjaku talking in some foreign language to another country or other leaders? Do you remember that vaguely? Maybe that's what he was doing at the time.
I thought so as well now after having read this one. Like, because I think we suspected he may have been speaking Chinese, but we didn't know exactly. But yeah, he may have been in China, perhaps, telling them exactly these types of things.
So there's some sort of big brain play at hand. I am excited to see where it's coming, although kind of dreading when it happens. Like, oh my gosh, how are they gonna get out of this one?
For
You know?
sure. Yeah, like Kenjaku is he's confusing me because it's like he seemingly has this master plan kind of or whatever he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
But he explained to Choso that he's just doing all this bad stuff for fun. He's like, "Oh, what if it turns into a funny phase? Oh, that would be hilarious." Like
Oh my gosh,
it's like
what a troll move!
if that's the only reason, I have a hard time really believing that, but at the same time, I don't know. I mean, it,
Yeah,
do you think he's truthful when he says that he's just doing it for fun, for the lulz?
I do actually. I think he is. He's
Okay.
just this very chaotic person that he wants to do things for the sake of can it be done, and what will be the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it, over time he's probably been twisted to be psychotic in that way,
Yeah.
but I think that he's working probably with Skuna. I mean, willing to let his plans, you know, or willing to bring him back or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
because he feels it would be the most interesting outcome and require the most crazy of circumstances. In a way, you could be proud of doing all that, saying, "I did all this. This is great," you know.
Yeah.
But I will say that maybe the what if it's a funny face thing, that
Uh-huh.
that probably was a bit of trolling on his part. So maybe not exactly that's not exactly what he wants, but I think he is doing it for the sake of research and for fun to see if he can do it.
Hmm. Yeah. Could be. Well, or I guess yeah. I guess I'll probably
You
have
can push
to
back, please.
stand with you on that. No, but I don't have any
Oh,
strong cases against that. I think honestly, no, probably what you said probably makes the most sense. Honestly, I, I
I
I'm
mean,
with you
it
there.
seems his whole life has been like that, with the cursed painting siblings and
Right.
all the things he's done. Eh, And you know what? It seems like he may not have started out with this ability to change his brain or change bodies. It feels like he may have obtained that somehow. I
Oh.
don't know for a fact, but it felt like it was kind of implied that that's not his original technique.
Oh. Was there anything specific that made you feel that way?
I should have wrote it down. I'd have to go back, so don't quote me on that. But it was a feeling I had while reading it, and there was something that I think when he was talking about his the abilities that he has, or was it Yuki who was talking about that? Either way, there was a moment where there was some explanation going on, and it felt like that ability may have been something that he gained over time versus um, that was that he started off like that.
Oh.
Because I think one of the reason I'm sorry I'm kind of rambling here, but one other reason I thought that was Skuna has his own way of getting back or having, I guess, immortality, and so does Tengen. These three guys have their way of extending their lives.
Mm-hmm.
When I say three, I also include Kenjaku.
Right.
And so Kenjaku, I don't think he started off with this ability to extend his life. I think he eventually found a way to do so. And I don't know how that happens, how you gain this curse technique exactly. But for a being that's been around for thousands of years, or so it seems,
Hmm.
I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that he gained it at some point.
But hasn't he stuck around for thousands of years or a very long time because of that ability?
Yeah, no, very true. But I think maybe there could have been a point that he got that ability, uh, maybe when he was relatively young
Mm.
ish, or maybe when he was relatively old. Maybe he spent his entire
Mm.
life gaining that, and then he was able to live on in that way. And by that time, I'm sure Tengen and Skuna would have, ascended or gone their separate ways, and so to speak. But
Right.
anyway, no,
Right. Mm.
I'll go back into the volume and I'll let you know if if there was anything specific.
Right.
At this point, it's just really just a hunch. It's nothing concrete, but I wasn't even gonna bring it up. I don't know why I did.
That's fair, though. That's fair.
But I did.
He has gravity manipulation.
Yeah.
And who knows what else?
Yeah, Yuki seems to theorize that Kenjaku wouldn't be able to hold more than maybe 4. That being said, that does set up him having more than that. Like subverting expectations,
True.
But I like to believe that there could still be a 4th one and only a 4th one. And that's something that he brings out as a wild card. His ace in the hole. But yeah, no idea what it could be. Either way, gravity is a very powerful technique to just have on you.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And that technique, that was from Yuji's mom, right?
That's right. So, if he got that ability or that cursed technique from her, and he has, the cursed spirit manipulation from Geto, is he just collecting cursed techniques from anybody whose body he has possessed?
I mean, I think for sure that's where he's getting them from, which, real quick, that would probably mean that he originally had just the body transfer body technique, but regardless, I feel like you can't just be born with that technique. You got to develop it somehow. You know what I mean?
Well, he probably. I would assume that he had.
How do you even find out? It's like, oh my gosh, I could totally take my brain out and put another body. What? That's gotta be some dark juju.
True.
It's dark jujitsu crap.
Right. Yeah, I guess it's not something that you just try out for fun or
well, that didn't work.
Or accidentally find out somehow. Like, yeah, you're right. Yeah, it is strange. Well, his whole character is strange.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. But anyway, I think that you're right, or we're right in that he collects these techniques from these specific sorcerers, but he's obviously had more than 3 over the years.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, again, it could be a expectation subversion type thing where he actually has 20 or I don't know how many generations it would be, but he has multiple curse techniques over the years somehow.
Right.
But I think it could also be the case that he just erases ones that are not as useful, and I assume gravity and curse manipulations would replace that.
It's like when a Pokemon learns a 5th move, they have to make room for it. And
that's exactly it.
Deletes one of the other 4 moves.
Yes. So now it all makes sense. They just don't have the mental capacity to have more than 4 moves.
Precisely. Could be the exact same thing here.
That is funny. So he basically just calls him a Pokemon.
Yeah.
You might have a 4th move.
Yeah. I hated how Kenjaku just sewed his head back on in like a split second. Like it took him no time at all.
That is just such a cop out, man. Like he got shot in the freaking forehead and he just, whoop, turns his head. I mean, I get the physics of it and the principle of it, but also just to do it that quick, and then tie it back up, like what? I mean, that almost feels like that could be his 4th technique.
Honestly,
tying things up quickly.
Yeah. And he laughed at Tengen for looking like Sukuna.
Yeah,
that was pretty fun.
Yeah, which we're going off the assumption that they know each other originally, right? Like that's kind of what
I think so.
Assuming.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it's been officially confirmed one way or the other. Correct me if I'm wrong, dear listener, but this kind of a statement by him does make it sound like that he knew both of them at a certain point, and now they both look this way, and it's just kind of funny to him. I don't know. Is that how you read it at all?
Yeah, something like that. Basically that, and how he, well, seeing as Tengen and Sukuna supposedly have been on opposing sides historically,
Mm-hmm.
I guess he thinks it's funny that they are turning or becoming so much alike in the way that they look, and in the way that they are, in a way too. Like they are humans turned cursed spirits, in a sense, both of them.
That's true. Yeah, it's true.
So that is kind of funny, to be fair. uh,
It is ironic.
mm-hmm.
Do you have any thoughts on his domain expansion? Womb profusion?
Not really.
We didn't really see it in action, did we?
Not really that I could tell.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it ever had any effect, really.
Right. Because the narration was like they miscalculated, and it was like almost as
Yeah.
if we would get to see some badassery from Kenjaku in his domain, but
Mm-hmm.
there wasn't really anything.
Right. Yeah, it was more so that he just did it so quickly than anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm assuming that we'll see that again eventually. Um, and that's another reason why I bring up the potential of what is that the technique could be, or that the body swapping isn't his original one,
Oh.
because you have this womb perfusion, and not all the time, but I feel like most of the time someone's domain is based on their curse technique.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And so this womb perfusion thing, does it have anything to do with transferring a body? It's certainly a
Mm.
name like that. It would imply, birth and
Ah.
offspring and things like that, which we know him to be both a father and a mother.
Yes. That is
But
true.
yeah, maybe he was just destined to be that. Eh, you know what? Can someone's domain change, like their expansion? Can it change over time? Like
Good
obviously
question.
more powerful, maybe, but can the whole theme of it, the curse technique itself, can it change over time?
I wouldn't be
I don't know.
surprised if it could.
Yeah, yeah. So maybe this is just an extension of who Kinchaku is now.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I'm obviously taking it way too deeply, but I thought it was an interesting name and look for a domain that we didn't even really see in action.
That is fair.
So at one point, Tengen or Kenjaku says that Tengen has hidden the true meaning or the true purpose of the culling games.
Yeah.
So what about the calling games? What real purpose? Don't do that. Don't just say something and then stop it. So frustrating.
Yeah, he like interrupted himself and did not return to that point at all.
No.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Well, it gave me the vibe that maybe Tengen is in on something bad.
Maybe.
Maybe he was in on the culling games somehow for some
But
reason. But
why
yeah.
would he fight against
But yeah, why?
Kenjaku unless it's just all a ploy? It's like, oh crap, we got to convince them that we're not on the same side. Okay, you can kill me. Yeah,
Eh, yeah,
or
yeah.
or let me go. I don't know how you want to phrase it, but
Right.
yeah, I don't know. To me, it seems that Tengen obviously knows the true purpose of the culling games, but hasn't told them about it. So
Yeah.
it must be something pretty devastating and something that
Mm-hmm.
maybe Yuji's gang wouldn't like to hear, and yet Tengen's against it still. I don't know.
Yeah. It's hard to know.
My thought was, I guess maybe this is a prediction, but my thought was that it actually is how they're going to bring back Skuna. Although I don't know why Tengen wouldn't tell them that, you know?
Right. Like, I feel like no matter what the secret is,
Uh-huh.
it makes no sense for Tengen to keep it from the other guys.
Yeah.
Unless Tengen is not as much of a good guy as we had thought. But that also doesn't really make sense given, I guess, how he's been trying to help them. I don't know. It's it's weird. I hope the reveal makes sense. Like whenever we learn about it, that it will make sense. But I don't know, man.
Yeah, I know. I'll throw out one just spontaneous thought I had. So we have the world's militaries supposedly coming in on this.
Yeah.
Maybe that in turn is part of the purpose of the culling game is to get a lot of people outside of Japan into Japan at this stage.
Yeah.
And Tengen is cool with that for some reason. Maybe he was hoping to use it for his own means,
Ah,
for the betterment of Japan. I don't know.
true.
He seems to be, or I felt like he was always about keeping Japan safe in a way, or at least the cursed users. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I wonder if he could use like non-sorcerers, like a big amount of non-sorcerers as a substitute for a star plasma vessel.
Yeah.
But yes, after just barely surviving Yuki's black hole, Kenjaku appears to be taking Tengen in some capacity. It's a bit unclear exactly how, or like exactly what he's doing with him, but I don't think Tengen can do much.
I mean, all we know from previous volume is that he wanted to kind of let Tengen loose, or let Tengen fuse with humans in
Yeah.
general.
Yeah.
So whatever that means,
I
or
guess
however you go about doing that.
break down all of Tengen's barriers, maybe.
Yeah.
And thus, kind of, yeah, as you said, kind of let him loose or something along those lines.
Because that's what's keeping Tengen temporal, or like having a body, is all the barriers, right?
Right. That seemed to be the implication.
Without the star platinum person or whatever.
Right. He's using his barriers to kind of keep himself together, both physically and mentally, I think.
Yeah.
But anything else on Kenjaku?
No.
Then let's talk next about Yuki Tsukumo. Well, she did, in a kind of pass by line at the very beginning, imply that she was a star plasma vessel, apparently.
Yeah.
As well. And that she supposedly could have merged with Tengen 12 years ago, but I guess no one was as good as the girl who died, whose name is escaping me right now.
What is her name?
Amai.
Is it Lisa? Amanai is one of her names.
Riko Amanai. Yes.
Rico.
Yes.
Not Lisa. Rico.
So yeah, no one was as good as her. So if Tengen couldn't have her, then he didn't want anybody, I guess.
Oh, I think I misunderstood. So I thought she was a previous star platinum vessel that refused to fuse, and so he's like, okay, I'll just go on to the next. And after a while, he's like, well, whatever, I don't need it anyway.
I see.
But I guess that's not the case.
Well, yeah, I don't think so, but I mean I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. I took it as, since it is 12 years ago, and I think that matches up with when Rico's story took place, that there were multiple people at the same time, Rico and Yuki and a couple others supposedly, but Rico was the only one that was good enough for Tengen, I think. But yeah, if I'm wrong, let me know.
No, I think you're right. I think you're right. I think I just didn't quite get that, and I don't think it's necessarily the writing. I think it was just really just a lot to process.
Fair, definitely fair. But yeah, that was interesting. I don't think it really matters at this point.
No, it doesn't. Like that whole plot line is thrown aside. I was
Yeah,
like, oh, okay, that's cool, I guess.
it was like yeah, I I wondered why Akutami wanted to point that out, but yeah.
No idea. When I was under the assumption that she was like a previous star vessel from years ago, and I thought Yuki could be this alternate version of Amanai, where she was able to say no and didn't die, and move
Ah.
on. What if Geto and Gojo had kept her safe or kept her away from all that, but that point is really moot at this point.
Mm-mm.
But anyway, I have no idea. It happened. It's done. I guess let's just.
Yep. So yeah, moving on. Yuki did a good job at keeping her curse technique a secret for a lot of years, leading up to this moment, which I guess gave her a slight edge in her fight against Kenjaku, but she did reveal her curse technique very quickly to him.
Yeah.
But I guess getting to reveal it to him did increase the power of the curse technique, so I guess
Mm-hmm.
that is an upside. And that was a damn good fight.
Yeah, it was. I will say I don't know if anybody in this story has had as quite of a flashy ending
Mm.
as Yuki going out in a black hole. That's pretty amazing.
Absolutely. My goodness.
But I can't deny that it feels like she was here and gone in a blink of an eye. I know
Yeah.
she's been here since the end of the Shibuya arc, but well, even before that, she was in the flashback. But still, it's like
Mm.
we were always waiting to learn and hear more about her,
Yeah.
and we just really didn't get a whole lot.
I agree. That was a shame. But something that I did like during the fight, how, or at least like toward the end of the fight, when Yuki and Choso were fighting together, they're starting to form this kind of siblinghood in a way, and Yuki obviously she numerous times called him big brother, and kind of I don't know, it was a small thing, but I kind of liked that it seemed like a bond
Oh, I
was kind of
loved
forming
it.
between the two of them, and I thought that was pretty
I loved
beautiful.
it.
And like especially like at the very end, basically the last word that she said to Choso, this is where you died as a curse, so you must live this time as a human. That was good.
It was great.
So
Yeah,
good.
and let's not miss the part where she says, "I like the rough type" a second time, and that's when Chozo came in. That was so good.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah. uh so yeah. It was very good.
Yeah.
Both like emotionally and like action wise. It was a very good part.
Yeah.
Just a shame she's gone.
Mm-hmm. I know we already we already said, well, Star Platinum Vessel doesn't matter. But I just
Uh-huh.
wanted to bring up the strange fact that Yuki can, I guess, hear the voices of the other vessels that Tengen has taken over the years,
Right.
supposedly.
Yeah.
I don't know if maybe she was speaking metaphorically, but I don't think
Hmm.
so.
Yeah, no, I also took it as being more literal.
Yeah, it seems literal.
Mm-hmm.
And Tengen's like, what do they say? She's like, I'm not gonna tell you.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I don't think it matters really, like, because what could they say that would have any weight on the story? But that seems such an interesting little conversation they had there that now it's basically gone. It's like, okay, why even have that? What is this? What is this build other than try to make Yuki a little more interesting and relevant?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I guess it establishes some kind of connection between everyone that is or has been a star plasma vessel.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's going to be relevant in the future, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, I would want it to be relevant in the future,
Uh-huh.
but at the point we're at right now, it's like, how can it be unless somehow there's
Yeah.
another vessel out there that is able to take in Tengen,
Oh yeah.
or I don't know. I don't know how it could be relevant, to be honest. So
Mm.
it seems like it should be based on this little chapter of them that we had, but it also seems like that's how can it happen, you know?
Yeah.
But anyway, I just wanted to bring that up before we moved on.
Definitely. I mean, I'm glad you did. That's good. Well then, let's talk about Choso next. He also had a banger fight with Kenjaku.
Yeah, he did.
And he was successful in forcing Kenjaku to reveal that new power of his, or well, not a new power, but new to them.
Mm-hmm.
So that was very well done.
Yeah, gets Kenjaku to use the gravity technique, and then he dips. He's like, "All right, I'm gone.
Yeah.
All right, peace. You got it."
So good.
But like I said, I love it when he returns back and
Mm.
on the cue of Yuki, and then tries to give that what should have been the killing blow.
Mm-hmm.
The patricide.
Yeah.
But as we talked about, Kenjaku has his tricks. It was great to see him so emotional, and obviously we've seen him cry before, but this is less about his brothers, although that's part of it,
Mm.
but more about himself as a well, now a human,
Yeah.
or how he should be, and him having regret for the things he's done.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I really like that, and he's never been a character that I've totally disliked. He's just gotten better and better,
For
and
sure.
this is a good moment for him, and I can't wait to see him, I would hope, reunite with Yuji eventually, and then hopefully they can have a good life together as brothers. But who knows?
Man.
Doesn't seem like that could actually happen, but
I hope
you never
so
know.
too. Because yeah, that getting that explanation, as you said, like the explanation as to like why he and his brothers lived as pure curses at first, like and it was because Choso didn't want to see his brothers suffer as human beings.
Mm-hmm.
Man, so good. And yeah, I agree. Choso grew to me as well because of that.
Yeah.
Like I liked him already very much. Like honestly, I think Choso is up there among my favorites somewhere.
Yeah. I agree. Mm-hmm.
But also like the parts where he was recalling his brothers during the fight and he was inspired by each of them as he fought was also very nice.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Mm.
Yeah. Activates older brother mode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that all on Choso?
Yeah, that's it.
Then next let's talk about Tengen.
Just a little thing. No gender, but more like a granny now.
Right.
But it does seem he's still. I don't know. I guess he's kind of just joking with how many women he's taken. I don't know why it always has to be the women.
I don't
Why is it
know.
always going to be women?
It is strange.
Yeah.
But it is inevitable for him to change, according to him.
Yeah.
And it's time. But it's I don't know, he's weird. It's like he chooses. He made this choice to not merge with a star plasma vessel. He had alternatives to merge with,
Yeah.
but he decided no, I'm just gonna change.
Okay.
Okay,
And
like
what was the whole point of this?
right?
I guess maybe that's more realistic, and that sometimes meaningless things happen, or horrible things happen for meaningless reasons.
True.
But man, it does suck for Abanai. Like, she went through all of that and died,
Yeah.
and then you're like, whatever, doesn't matter. If I can't have that one, I don't want it.
Gosh.
Tengen's, and it's always been a mystery, but
yeah.
still more of an enigma than I thought he'd be after meeting them,
For sure. But anything else on Tengen?
No, not that I can think of.
Then let's talk about Nobara Kugisaki.
What?
I wish,
Oh.
but she's dead.
Oh. I was like, what in the world?
No, that's just my wishful thinking. I'm still upset that she's dead. No, let's talk about Cyrus Vale,
Okay.
the Undersecretary for the U.S. Office of Energy and Environment. Very eager to start using cursed energy as to fuel the world, or to fuel Merca, at least.
Mm-hmm.
And Gary K. Johnson, the Joint Special Operations Commander and Army Lieutenant General, who will supposedly lead the U.S. abduction of 5 Jujutsu sorcerers.
Japanese people should stick to cars and anime. That's all I'm good for.
I love that.
Make another Madoka Magica, please. I love that stuff.
Yeah. I did very much enjoy kind of the depiction of the Americans.
Yeah.
It was very fun.
They mentioned Yokota Air Base. That's where I went to high school.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hasn't like places that where you've lived in Japan been mentioned also in Asadora and in Kaiju number 8?
Indeed, they have. Asadora, I actually can't remember. Yeah, I think yeah, you're right. In the recent volumes in Asadora, yeah.
Right.
They were.
That's funny. Like so many volumes that we cover on the podcast are places you've
Go figure.
been in Japan.
Yeah. Yeah, now we just need one set in Hokkaido and I could really go crazy.
Yeah.
I really want to read Golden Kamui. Do you want to do that?
Ooh.
I'm kidding. I mean, I love Golden Kamui, but no.
But yeah, the president did have a change of heart for the worst. Mm-hmm. Like he started off seeming pretty solid, but he changed his mind.
Mm-hmm.
So that was not good.
Yeah. I don't know what. This whole energy thing seems quite the leap in logic. It's like, oh, we can harness this energy somehow. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Why would that be the thing you think of? I guess that's why he has the position he does, thinking outside of the box.
True. And like I feel like it in a way it is realistic because obviously energy is important in the real world.
Yeah, I guess I just wouldn't think that kind of energy could be harnessed.
True.
I mean,
right.
In a way that could power things.
Yeah.
But maybe that's just my small brain.
I mean, I don't know.
Maybe it should be pretty obvious.
I don't know. He seems convinced that it'll work somehow.
Yeah.
Or he seems very eager to test it out at the very least.
Well, then they kind of try to justify it, say, well, we actually have to protect these people because other countries will go in and take them and imprison them or whatever. But we need to protect our own people. Like we have Japanese Americans. We need to protect them.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why we need to go into Japan, invade Japan. Like, what?
Yeah. Not a good justification, but I wonder if this whole thing is going to play a significant role in the rest of the story, or if it's only like I'm talking about the energy idea and that whole thing and Americans abducting Jujutsu sorcerers, or if this is like if all that will come from this is the U.S. military during the Culling Games as an obstacle there. I could see that probably, but
yeah,
I wonder, could it be more? Could it be that we'll expand on that whole other side of it with the energy? It seems kind of like it wouldn't fit in the story if it's going to take a big part in the story, I think.
Yeah.
So I guess I hope not. But
right. Yeah, I agree.
But I guess that's all on the Americans.
Mm-hmm.
Then other small characters, Megumi Fushiguro managed to understand Yuji's charades surprisingly well.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're both aware, I guess, of the fact that Sukuna is underestimating kind of where Yuji is at in terms of being willing to die for for everything, like to kill Sukuna.
Mm-hmm.
But that was a very small part of this volume,
It really was.
which was obviously something that it was like the whole cliffhanger of the previous volume, but we didn't get much more
Right.
to it. So I guess it's still a cliffhanger in a way.
To go along with that section, and maybe this was already deduced in the previous volume, but it's been so long, so forgive me.
Mm.
Fujiguro thinks that the angel might have the ability to kill Sukuna,
Yeah.
and that's why Sukuna tells Yuji, "Hey, I'm the disgraced one," as a way to kind of try to keep him from doing that.
Mm-hmm.
As we said, he's underestimating Yuji. But yeah, was it established previously that that was the assumption they were making?
That the angel can kill Sukuna?
Uh-huh.
I don't think so. I don't know for sure. As you said, it's been a while since we read the previous volume, but
Yeah. But that's pretty big, right? I mean,
yeah.
obviously we knew that she had a beef with him, but to the point where she could actually kill Sukuna, unlike everybody else, it seems.
Mm.
That has some potential. That's important.
Definitely right. If it's true that she can kill Sukuna without having to find all of the fingers,
Mm-hmm.
then
Mm-hmm.
that is massive. So yeah, definitely hope the next book will give us more on their side of the story.
Yeah, more on Kurusu, please. That'd be nice.
Please. Do you have any other characters you want to discuss?
I do not. No.
All right, then let's dive into predictions. And well, big thing that I think we can definitely expect from the next volume is the US military entering the Culling Games, as well as probably other nations' militaries as well. So chaos may ensue.
I would think, but I've been pretty sure of myself in the past,
Uh
and then we go to some other fight in
huh.
some other part of the Culling Games, or even outside the Culling Games.
Uh huh.
It just never ends.
Fair.
It's like, okay, we get it. There's a lot of fighting, and they're really cool. But let's
Yeah.
move it along.
Yeah, true. This whole arc has been progressing quite slowly. I get that there's a lot to
Yeah,
cover,
I get that.
but
Yes,
but yeah, maybe it could have been a bit more fast paced.
just a little bit. I think we've milked the Culling Games just a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, even though I have enjoyed, I think every scene. It's just they've just all been a little long.
Yeah, I agree.
Not to say it's not going to all resolve nicely. I have confidence that it will, but maybe it didn't need to be that detailed or that prolonged. But regardless, I do agree with you that I think either at the beginning of the volume or the end of the volume, the next volume we will have the military of the world coming in, and that's why I don't think America is going to really play a huge part in all this. Maybe we'll see, Sergeant Man over there. What the heck? This ain't the Japan I knew. Where are the anime girls? Like maybe we'll get crap like that. As for the purpose of the military groups, wouldn't it seem just odd if the only reason they were there is just to give the sorcerers trouble? It feels like there has to be a reason you needed to collect that many people in one spot, and specifically that many military people, because you would have had that many Japanese people there already, who aren't sorcerers. These are military people who have no curse energy, supposedly,
Yeah.
or at least no ability to use curse technique.
Uh-huh.
And they have big guns and military power like that, as opposed to civilians of Japan. So there's got to be a reason for that. Maybe they want to utilize the weapons somehow. Maybe they're trying to demilitarize the world, although that seems rather small-minded. They're not going to send every military force they have there, so I don't know how that would work.
Yeah.
I really don't know why, other than furthering the Cully games as a sacrifice.
Right. If Tengen wanted to use a massive amount of civilians as a substitute for a star plasma vessel, if that even is a thing that works. But he doesn't want to use the Japanese people.
Mm-hmm.
Then that may explain Kenjaku's whole that kind of tease about Tengen
Mm-hmm.
and how he may be in on it on some level, and maybe that could be Tengen's own grand plan.
Hmm. I mean, I guess the grand plan of merging Tengen with just humans in general, I guess I assumed it just would have happened no matter where the humans are. It just would have happened worldwide. But maybe in order to increase the initial power, they needed these military or some sort of mass amount of people to be in there, and I don't know, for some reason couldn't have been the Japanese, and yeah, maybe Tengen had a role in that for some reason, but I don't know. Doesn't make quite sense to me yet.
Maybe if there's a lot of people nearby, Tengen can retain some of his self. I don't know.
But isn't that the bad thing for Kenjaku?
It's a bad thing for Kenjaku. Yeah, it's a good thing for Tengen. So maybe
For Tengen, yeah.
maybe it's Tengen's like maybe it was his own plan. But I'm not using logic right now, or like I'm not. But neither is Akutami all the time. Like, come on.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. I am a bit at a loss.
I just did it because it sounded cool. But I think a big prediction / want is that can we all gather now? Like these are predictions I had in the previous volume. You know, Maki wraps things up in other colonies. They make some rules. They say Megumi sister. Boom. Like let's get these. Let's touch on these points.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
This is more so just me demanding rather than predictions. But I feel like those things have to happen.
They do
at some point. And yes, there needs to be important confrontations. There needs to be a confrontation between Kenjaku and Yuta. There obviously needs to be confrontation with just Sukuna in general. Those are probably the biggest ones, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you could have Kenjaku and Yuji, but I don't think Yuji is as invested in that fight as he would be with fighting Sukuna eventually. Although I guess they're all there because of Kenjaku, so maybe Kenjaku could be the end game for this arc. I don't know, but I do have a strong feeling that it should be Kenjaku versus Yuta, just because I feel like a lot of Yuta's actions have been affected by Kenjaku up to this point. And it's been alluded that Kenjaku thinks very little of Yuta. So I think it'd be really cool if Yuta just took him out. You know, it's just like your hubris is your undoing.
Yeah. For sure.
But I could be wrong on that.
There are a lot of characters to keep track of, though.
Yeah, you're right.
I feel like I had almost totally forgotten about Tsumiki. I mean, she's not a big character, but like the whole like saving her thing like had slipped my mind.
Yeah.
Kind of. But that's a pretty major thing at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But something that I'm sort of predicting is that because it was a bit unclear exactly what happened to Choso at the end of this book. He was there before the black hole, and we didn't see him after. I hope to gosh that he didn't die there. And I'm going to assume that he didn't, and instead think that Tengen somehow brought Choso to safety, like in the nick of time.
Yeah.
I think Tengen could have put up like his final barrier or something to save Choso. And so Choso is alive, and he will be the one to inform the others of what they learned there regarding Kenjaku's abilities, as well as, well, the loss of Yuki and Tengen. He can be that messenger.
Yeah, I think he has to still be safe and well somewhere. Yeah, I have no idea where he would have got sent exactly.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
Because he goes through that barrier, but who knows? I'm sure he'll be fine. One other thing that I remembered is that obviously we need Gojo to get out, right? Like that's the whole point. That's the whole point of this right now. It's not so much they're going after Kenjaku per se. They're going after get Gojo out of the cube.
Yeah.
That's what they want. So that's what we really need to see. That's the whole point of this.
It is indeed.
I'm just assuming that Sukuna in the end will somehow come back, but I don't know. There could be a whole nother arc, for all I know.
True. I feel like there's still room for another arc before the end of the story. Because,
okay.
Well, obviously depending on how soon this one ends, but there will be a total of about 30 volumes, I think. Like, it's basically over, the manga.
Yeah, from what we hear, yeah. I can't remember how many chapters are left. Last time it's like 5 chapters, but that was a few weeks ago,
Maybe,
so it could be...
I mean, it could already be over by the time this episode releases.
It could be, yeah.
Either way, I believe I looked, or I tried to calculate roughly what the amount of volumes might be by the end, and I think I landed at 30. So if this arc ends in volume 25, let's say, then I think there could be room for a bit of an arc, like final arc after that.
Yeah, this would be an incredibly long arc if it was just this. So you're right. There may be another arc.
If it's the culling game all the way until the end, that's way too long.
I wonder. So what is the end? What will be the end of the culling games then? Is it that something will happen that's catastrophic that will lead to the final arc, or is it Gojo getting out? Is that is assuming he does?
It could be Gojo getting out, and maybe additionally the death of Kenjaku.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Leaving Sukuna for the final arc.
Yeah. In that case, then maybe it wouldn't be a Utah Kenjaku. Maybe it would be like a Megumi Yuji thing, and Chozo comes in again as well. That'd be pretty cool.
That could be cool.
But I don't know. I have no idea. There's so many characters, so many possibilities.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I just sent Maki at him. I don't know. Like,
yeah,
we were talking. We had Yuki with the mask. I was just thinking, how would Maki handle this? Would she even be affected? I don't even know. It seems like she's on another level of the sorcerers at this point.
Yeah.
Where Toji was, but
yeah, I don't really have a whole lot else to say. I think.
No, I don't know either.
But yeah, let's just hope the culling games don't go on for too much longer.
Okay, let's put a crazy prediction out there. Let's say that the culling games goes all the way to the end.
Yeah.
That's my prediction.
Great. I like ballsy predictions like that. But or maybe it's not even that ballsy. I mean, it's been a slow
Who knows?
arc, so
it really has been.
Yeah. I like it, but I don't want it to be true. Well, that is all for this week.
Yes.
If you enjoy our content, you can follow us on Twitter at Umami Manga, and it would be lovely if you'd like to support us by rating our show on the podcast platforms and subscribing to our channel Umami Manga on YouTube. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time when we'll talk about Volume 24. Bye bye!
See you later. How was Deadpool 3?
Oh yeah, I thought it was very good. The opening, I'm not going to say what the opening was, but it had me laughing uncontrollably. Like I had to actually cover my mouth and try to really silence myself because I realized I was laughing too much in the cinema. It was hysterical.
Was no one else laughing?
No, other people were laughing, but I felt like I was laughing way more than everybody else.